as a Kemite, as a Cushite, as an Egyptian, we are supposed to pay attention to these teachings. This comes from the old era. This comes from before Christ. And I'm not saying that the world didn't have evil in it. I'm not saying the world didn't have BS in it. You get me? But I kind of sort of believe it was a little bit more at peace than it was now. I understand that it took years, maybe decades, to come from across seas into another country and conquer them. Some of their wars lasted decades, 10-year wars, 20-year wars, 100-year wars before you finally conquered and controlled that land. So if these are the teachings of a Kemite, of a Cushite, of a Egyptian, why are we talking about how Ramsey really didn't listen to Moses? You got me? I even say it. I've said it many times. I said only if Ramsey would have listened, the world would be different. I believe I said it in the clip the full reading I just put out. You know what I mean? Or I just said it walking around my apartment. You know what I mean? But if I'm to read this, I really want to read about Kemet. I've been read about what Ramsey done. I've been educating myself and learned that when people tell you to stop or people ask you to do something that you're harming them back, pay attention, take heed. If at that moment you can't understand the why, you better get you some better advisors. You better get a better group of people around you to explain to you the repercussion. And if you're not going to listen to your maker, to whom you pray to, then you're doomed for failure. You're condemned. What would the other word? You're condemned. Whatever the other word is. Look, you're condemned. What they went through, they didn't have to go through. But in spite of the fact that the ancient Egyptians enjoyed rather more popularity than their contemporaries, it is evident that the books which they wrote are closed books to those who have not the glamour of vanished peoples and the fascination of mighty cities now made desolate strong upon them. Yet in the heterogeneous and pitiful flotism that reluctant seas have washed to us piecemeal from a remote past, there are, as will be shown later, many things which, although proceeding from a culture and modes of thought as far removed from our own as they may well be, are worth the reading, which do not require any special knowledge for their understanding. And of these are the translations in this book. The following pages, which although addressed to the general reader, may yet be of some assistance to those especially interested in Egypt, give among other matters the place of the instructions of Ptahhotep and Kejimni in the literature of Egypt. Their unique place in the literature of the world, their value historically, a description of the document in which they were found, what is known of their authors, a discussion of their contents. We will end it right there. That's like the end of a chapter. You know what I mean? And it had this little number 1 beside this paragraph. So I'm gonna go down into the footnotes and explain that. Much ingenuity has been expended to show that Egyptian manners and customs, books and other things were much the same as our own, as though the supposed similarity reflected any credit either on them or on us, except in customs which are common to all times and places, as drinking beer, writing love letters, making wills, going to school, and other things antecedently probable. The Egyptian life can show very few parallels to the life of today. You know what a parallel is, right? That's like things coincide. That's like back then, every country, every culture came into Kemet and took history, took some type of history from us. Today, that history has been rewritten for that person gain. If the person that rewrote it, the culture that rewrote it, if you go to Only Face Ministries Kemet on my Facebook account, you will see that I've rewritten the 42 laws of man, and I've made it into the 29 laws of Ma. So the only gain that I get out of that is to point out where history, throughout history, no one spoke up and went against these teachings. They're wrong. They're totally wrong. Just because you're not a god or a goddess does not mean I'm not to respect you. I'm not to see you as my equal. You know, just because you are of another culture, it doesn't mean I should look down upon you. It doesn't mean that I'm not to fellowship with you. So what I'm going to say, you know, to the Cushites, Kemites, modern time Egyptians, you know, if that's the term you would rather for to hear, Egyptians, speak up. See what you don't feel is right in the literature you read, in the images you see, in the congregation that you're in. Speak up. This right here, this right here, this culture that we are in is misleading. This culture we are in can swindle you. This culture we are in can kill you. I've explained early on, there's three sides to this culture. You have demonic, you have righteousness, and you have confusion. There are some people that are confused because they don't understand none of it. It haven't been presented to them right. It haven't been spoke to them right. And if you can't talk it, if you can't explain it, and if you can't show the facts, don't talk it, don't teach it at all. Just listen. It's not your time. But if you got an idea, you got a notion, you have a hunch that this don't sound right. I know whom we pray to don't want us out here stealing. I know whom we pray to don't want us out here killing people. I know whom we pray to does not want us out here selling drugs and doing drugs. In our walk in life, our body, our temple is the most valuable possession you will ever have. Ever have. Anywho, I am the Nasty Pastor. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Come follow me on Facebook. Only Faith Ministries, Kemet. Go to my YouTube, as I said, subscribe. There's some content over there. I'm beginning it, I'm building it. Help me. Love you. I'm out.